guys. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday evening. Mondays have definitely become my favorite day of the week, besides Sunday. Shh, don't tell nobody. But happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is the first Monday of February, which means it's a good day. It's a good day. Of course, I am Dejanay Dominique. I am on with the Unspoken D word, dealing with divorce. I am so excited. This is another week, one that God has given me the opportunity to come on and help you guys, chat with you guys, learn from you guys, and have a special guest. And I'm really honored to have my sis, Britt, on here. I gotta say this, and Britt probably doesn't know this. So when I was going through my divorce, well, she does know this a little bit, just a little bit. But when I was going, so me and Britt always have been friends, and then we have mutual friends. So we would see each other at gatherings, and we were both married, coming to Christmas parties with our spouses and stuff. And I always looked up to her because we're like the same age. She was always dope. But we actually divorced. She divorced before me. And I remember going through the divorce. I would go to her page all the time just to see her like smiling and motivated. And it would be like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can do this. And do this. I got this. I got this. And I would scroll some more. And I'd be like, oh, she really okay. She doing okay. So I'll be okay. I'll be all right. Okay. So that is why I am really honored to have Britt on here this evening with me. We're both around the same age. She is bomb at everything she does.
Oh my gosh.
This is about to be like a good conversation, a good conversation. So I introduce you guys to Brittney. Brittney, tell them about yourself, and then we're gonna go right on in and talk.
Okay. So hello everybody. My name is Brittney, as Dejanay said. I think she spoke me up a little too much, guys. My name is Brittney. I am a mother of two little girls. I'm an event planner. The name of my business is A Touch of Class Events. I've been in business for about 4 years now. So that's like my little side hustle. As far as my main line of work, I am a center coordinator for a nonprofit preschool that services low-income families and children. So children are my passion. Actually just walked away from teaching and wanted to try a new venture, which I absolutely love. So that's a little bit about me. I do have a social media platform. And it's called Pink Table Talks. And I pretty much kind of do the same thing, kind of like Dejanay, but a little different. But it's just pretty much just for women. So women can be whole, healed, and walk in their freedom. So I'm excited to be on here tonight with Dejanay. Like she said, we've known each other for a long time. So I'm happy to be on today.
Okay, so we're gonna start the conversation off. So I know Brittney has two young children, and she went through her divorce. I want to ask you, Brittney, going through your divorce, after your divorce, I know, like, you're a big family person. Did you have any expectations on your in-laws? Did they come through? How was that journey, like separating or disconnecting the ties from like now being this wife to like now you're on the outside of things? And I know you have two young children. So how is that, and how was that process and that journey for you?
So the process was a little, I don't know, a little weird because like in my family, even people who have divorced or going through divorce in my family, we've always stayed connected. They still come to family events. We've always stayed close and tight knit because we are a big family. We're all about family. I kind of expected the same thing with my in-laws. Like I thought that so when at the time that we separated, the time we separated, I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. So I did kind of expect to still have that relationship with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, especially since I was pregnant, then went to labor, then had a child. But through that whole process, I heard absolutely nothing. Nothing at all, no text messages. I remember just the other day, just sitting back thinking like, well, darn, I didn't even get a text message saying congratulations on the baby. Nothing. We're in the hospital. Nothing. So it's sad to say that we actually have no relation at all. Even when it comes to my daughters, I don't hear from them. No birthdays, no events, no recitals, absolutely nothing. So it's sad because again, like you said, I am a family person, but not everybody
Honors.
And then it's just like you never know what the other party says.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have played a factor too. But I always thought and expected, even still, like I have two young children, regardless of what I went through with their son, I would still have always wanted and expected that relationship with them when it comes to raising their grandchildren. What do your kids need? Can we come to this? Whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
nothing at all. So
So
sad. But
I think that it has to do with the age. Because and the reason why I say that is I know with me, I kind of expected the same thing, but I kind of didn't expect it
hmm
because, as you know, is their son. Like with my family, the same way. Like we love hard, so it's like once you're in, like you're glued in. Like we would have been expecting to still see him and bring his new lady friend around, and they would have loved her,
right.
just as much as we love family. And what I went through private.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like the reason why they did not deal as much is because of our age bracket, because they were young. And I can remember having an argument with one of the members of the in-law side. And
hmm
she was, we were going kind of back and forth a little bit.
hmm
And it was like, oh, young lady, you're a little girl. And it was like, whoa, like I've been through a lot. So I
hmm
don't know if they treat that because we are divorced and young and they
hmm
feel like make decisions quick, like too quick, or how would you think that? Like, do you think our age and being that we're women and being as though we are independent women as well in
hmm
marriages, you think that is a reason why people think maybe, oh, y'all moved too fast, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or you're so used to being independent? Do you think that was one of the issues? Like she hurt you, she moved too fast, or she wanted to be independent, or she
hmm
wanted to be a boss, or she wanted to, be better? Do you think that has something to do with it, or
Um, I don't know. I really
okay,
don't know. I really don't know what it was. And part of it too, we didn't really have a relationship when we were together. Um, I tried, but
same.
just wasn't just it was high by whatever. So we didn't really have much a relationship then. So I think maybe that may have played a part in it. But then again, it's also just like I don't know, because now that he's in a new situation, they're this big family. So what happened? Like why was there a disconnect between the two? And I have your grandchildren. So what's the what's the problem here? So I cannot say. I don't know what it is. Don't know. But I literally have not heard from them since the divorce. And
And
it's
you
sad.
know what? To say just that is a family, because I know we're both family, and I know that's how it is in friendships. Now, did you lose any friendships in this, or you kind of kept the same, or
Um
did you?
I wouldn't say I necessarily lost friendships. I would say when I did get married and had children, it was kind of different for me because out of my group of friends, I'm the only, well, not now, but I was the only one who had kids at the time and was married. So a lot of
Okay.
people don't really understand, like they couldn't really relate. Like I couldn't relate to the single life anymore. They couldn't relate to me being a mom and a wife. So I wouldn't say I lost friends, but I kind of, it was a huge disconnect. And even now that I am divorced and but still have young children, it's still kind of a disconnect because it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you guys don't know what it's like to be divorced. You guys don't know what it's like to have two young children. Like so it's weird. It's really weird. Like I love my friends, but I also know that, it's hard to relate to people. I mean, you're not the same. I'm ultimately not the same person that people met years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to get back out there and jump back into friendships and stuff like that because I'm not the same person. I'm not the same Brittany. I'm a mom of two now. I can't go to the same events that you guys go to. I can't. It's just different. Like I don't have a babysitter for my two kids. Like when you guys want to go out or do something, or or if I'm just in a funk and in a bad mood or whatever, I just So it's been hard. I wouldn't say I lost friends, but I feel like I've disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
not because I wanted to, it's just because I felt like after a while I couldn't relate anymore to or people couldn't relate to me either. It just was different. So, but I'm definitely trying to get back into like go. Like I was talking to my therapist the other day, and she was like, "Brittney, your goal for the rest of this year is to make friends and to get back out there." Because I'm like, I'm a friendly person, but it is hard when you've been so stuck in that mindset of being a wife and being a mother, and then now
Mm-hmm.
you're no longer a wife, but you're just a mother. It's hard to get back out there and get back into having fun scene and going out
Yeah,
with your friends and stuff. Because you feel like ultimately, I know I felt like, this is kind of weird. I don't know how to, you know. So didn't lose friends, but it was hard to. It's. I will say it's hard to connect back with them.
I
To say,
think I did it. Everybody will tell you, like, when I started going through, I cut friends off. Like, and that was it. I didn't want, some opinions are good opinions, but if you never going through it, it's like you be offended. Like, why
you
would
can't
you even tell me? Like, why
exactly,
would you even say that to me? Like, that's not the case.
exactly.
So I know I went through the process literally by myself.
Mhm.
Now, like you, I remember my therapist for a long time, even though I was divorced from my ex-husband. I still was in that mindset, like you said, of being a wife. So I was always like checking Facebook, like, is he okay? Does he need something? Is
Mhm.
this okay? And even though I was hurt, it was
Mhm.
because I had been in that position of caring for so long. It was like, oh my God, is he okay? And I remember I said it to my therapist, and she literally looked at me in my face and was like, you're divorced, but you're still his wife. Like, you'll never move on with that
Mhm.
mindset. And that
Right.
was like a reality to me, is like, okay, I have to be step into reality in order to heal. Because for a long time I was just existing. Like, okay, I was divorced, but it was like, let me get busy over here. Let
Mhm.
me pick up another position at work. I actually got a harder position at work to kind
Mhm.
of keep me focused, like, just not thinking about it. I was never home. And then when she said that, it was like, whoa, girl, like, you need to slow down and heal, because the friendships and relationships I was picking up during that period were failing. I was hurting them because I wasn't consistent. I um i couldn't be a real friend to them. They would text and it would take me days to text back, or I was moody. I don't think, and I know you can attest to that.
Oh yeah, I
After
was
it
too.
gives you like this short temperance, like, you're
Mhm.
like, anything can like make you super moody, and then you're super emotional, and then it's like 1 minute I want to go out and I'm all for you, and then 5 minutes
Mhm.
before the next time you invite me out, it's
Mhm.
like I don't feel like one. I was very inconsistent. So I
Yeah.
did have a group of friends that I lost, that those new friends and things that I were trying, I did lose in that time.
Mhm.
um Now I'm like you, this, I feel like these last couple months I've really been like, okay, you're at a better, and I always tell people, if you friend me now, like, you got a better version of me.
Right. Right.
Like a whole version of me. Like, it's not somebody I meet and it's like, oh my God, like, I'm divorced. Like, for a while I wore that. I thought it was a look. So I was in walking
Mm.
in, my
Me
God, do
too.
I look,
Me
do I
too.
have that for aura, or and I'm young still. Like, and I don't
Right.
think that's what people, so it's like, you're divorced. Like, and I think a lot, and that's why I asked you about the age frame, because I know a lot of people treating me like, girl, you left too fast. Like, y'all didn't even get
Mhm.
to experience nothing, or really go through nothing, or
Right. Right.
it's like,
Right.
I
And
did though.
yeah, I think with the age thing, that was a huge embarrassment for me. Like it definitely took time for me to get over because, growing up, you never would have thought you would get a divorce. Like divorce is like you said, the unspoken word. Like divorce is not something that you would expect going into a marriage. So I was shamed for a while. I was embarrassed, and then I went from being, you know, I'm now a single mom, and it's just like I never like seeing other single moms growing up, just like, okay, yeah, whatever. But now being a single mom, I'm like, I would have never thought this is the hardest thing. There's days I was embarrassed. I'm walking in church with a car seat and one child, and I feel like people looking at me like, look at this girl with these two kids, but they don't even know my story. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I definitely went through, like with being young and divorced, I definitely went through a period of embarrassment, and I wore it bad, like bad, like because on top of being embarrassed and shame, I was depressed too. Like I was sad, I was hurt. I had a newborn baby, so it was tough for me. Like I went through a really, really bad season of depression, and it was just all over my face. It was in how I looked, it was in how I dressed, it was in how I acted. Like you could
Mm-hmm.
just tell that I was depressed, and I didn't know I was depressed at the time. Until I like started going to therapy. My therapist was like, "Girl, you are depressed." And I really tried my best to like cover it up because I'm like, nobody can tell, whatever.
Yes,
It
you
was
can.
bad. Yes, you can.
Yes,
Yes, you can.
you can.
it was really, really bad. And I'm like, it was to the point where it's just like my daughters were even looking at me like, Mom, are you okay? Like, what's going on? My oldest daughter. And I was like, Britt, you gotta get it together, because you have two little girls looking up to you. You're looking crazy. Like, I have a funny story to tell. So when I was kind of going through my depression, my
Mm-hmm.
youngest daughter, she was like a couple months old. And no, she wasn't even a couple months. She may have been a month or two. So it was still
Mm-hmm.
the summertime. And I went out with my mom to Walmart, summertime, and I had on a winter coat. You cannot tell me,
What?
girl. I was so messed up. Like, that's how messed up and depressed I was in my mind, like mentally. And my therapist at the once I because at first I'm just like, I got a coat, whatever, it no matter. Like, it was nothing to me. Like, I was losing it. So my
Mm-hmm.
therapist, it's not that you were cold or anything like that. Like, you literally were trying to cover up. Like, you didn't want nobody to see you. And it wasn't like I didn't want nobody to see my outer. It was my inner that I didn't want people to see. Like, I was trying to hide how I was feeling on the inside, because I knew it was showing on the outside ultimately. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought by wearing a coat, oh, I'm just covering up, nobody can see whatever. But I ultimately was trying to cover up the inside, the hurt I was feeling, the depression, the weight I was physically carrying and mentally carrying. Girl, so that age thing, like, it really weighed on me. Like, oh my God, I'm young. Like, what the heck? What am I going to do? I have these kids. Nobody's ever going to love me again. Like,
Yeah,
it was tough. It was
I
tough.
went through that. So with saying that about love again, what
Mhm.
did you date after that? And like, how did you know you were ready to like step out there? Like, what was the sign? Did you think you did it too prematurely? If you did it,
Um, so I definitely did take some time to start dating again. And I feel like I just kind of just knew inside, like, hey, I'm ready to get back into it. Like, I felt like I was in the best place that I've ever been. I felt like I was in a place to give myself to someone to love again and all that.
Mhm.
Um, but the dating scene is just is terrible. It's absolutely terrible in my opinion. Not sure what it is with this generation of men, but it's been trash. Like, every time, like, if I thought, I was like, oh, he's the one, he's got it going on. And I thank God. I literally think it's just God just trying to protect me. Like, you are not going to go through this again, so I'm going to show you head on, like, this is not the person. Like, I'm gonna let this person act crazy right away, so Brittney, run. So I tried it, hasn't really worked. So ultimately, I'm just gonna sit back and just wait on God. When he's ready, or when he's ready to send the right one, he'll send them. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep waiting, because it has not worked for me at all, at all. And I just, from what I've just experienced, it just seems like the guys of this generation, they're just not ready to, like, commit, to settle down. And it's sad to say, and I'm not speaking for all, but just not all men. If any men are on here, not speaking, it's just some, just not ready to commit, not ready to settle down, want to be out, do whatever. And that's not me. If I'm going to be with you, I want to be locked in, me and you against the world. That's it. But
there were some times that I've been like, maybe I should stay married.
girl, girl,
Maybe I should have.
I say it all the time. I would have much rather stay married than deal with this. Seriously. It's terrible. I don't understand. I'm like, y'all 36, 37, 38, 34, 35, and y'all just out, y'all don't got it together yet.
But you know what? I can honestly say, I think the reason why we feel like that is
Hmm.
because, well, I know speaking for me, there were, and again, I always say every week, like, I was not perfect in my
Right.
marriage.
Me
No one
either.
is.
No.
But my healing journey, I've learned more of me. So it's like, I know
Right.
what I want. I know what I
Right.
wanted like this time.
Hmm.
I know red flags, like only green
Yeah.
flags. You like the first time I see it
Yes.
is red. And I think they're just
Hmm.
different out here. I had a joke with one of my male friends. I was like, if I get another text message asking what I got on underneath, like, I'm not that girl.
Whoa.
Like I'm not that girl. Is that all that you
Girl.
guys think here?
I feel like that's all that these guys are about these days. It's just the cookies. Sad to say. And I'm like, listen, no. We gotta be more. Yeah, no. So
Oldest
sorry for your background.
it's fine. I also feel like what lessons do you think? Like, do you think like how do you feel like it changed divorce change you in a positive and negative way? Like, if you had to tell somebody, like, I'm happy for my divorce because of this. Like, what would you tell them, and why would you say it impacted you, negatively and positively? Like, what would you say?
So I'll start with the positive.
Mm-hmm.
So since my divorce, I feel like I've been in the best place I've ever been, honestly, in life. So I
Mm-hmm.
know for sure that definitely was a lesson for me. It's always a lesson in something.
Yes.
I feel like mentally I'm in a great place. Physically, emotionally, I'm in the best place ever. Um, in marriage, I was depressed in marriage too. Depressed. I was sad. I was the heaviest I ever been in life. I just ultimately was just not the Brittney who was always on the up and up, the Brittney who liked getting dressed, getting her hair done, nails done, whatever. I was just in a bad space, period. But since the divorce, I've learned to love myself again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in the times where I don't feel like I look my best. Brittney, get up, go get your hair done, go get your nails done. Like, I've been about like self-care a lot lately. Like, do things that's going to make you happy. If you
Mm-hmm.
have to go send the girls to a babysitter and you go check in a hotel room and spend a day with yourself, do that. So I've learned to love it myself again. I've learned to care about myself again, take care of myself. Um, like I said, I'm in the best place physically. I've lost a ton of weight. I'm in a I was on blood pressure pills and all that stuff in my marriage. I'm no longer on blood pressure pills because I
That's
put myself first. So I've been working out. Like, I've just been all about loving myself. So I would say that's been the positive about coming, like, going through a divorce and coming out of it. I've learned to be all about myself again. I was so engulfed in my children, engulfed in my marriage. It was all about him, all about my children, and it still is about my children. But I had to learn to, hey, Britt, it's okay to care about yourself. It's okay to be selfish one day and not buy the girl something, and you go and get your nails done. So I've learned to just be to care about myself again, to love myself again. But I guess the negative, um, hmm, that's a good question. Negative, I guess, you've kind of mentioned this. I think, um, and I wouldn't say this is a negative, but it can be to some people. I've
mm-hmm.
become no nonsense
Okay.
because of what I've gone through. And I kind of look at that as a positive, but it can be a negative in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't allow things. I don't put up with a lot. And in turn, it has messed up some relationships and things like that. Cause I'm just like, I'm not allowing anyone to walk all over me. And some people have looked at it as a negative, like you're nasty and you're this and that. No, it's just that I'm not allowing myself to be taken advantage of anymore. I'm not
Yes.
allowing myself to be walked over. I'm not allowing anyone to talk to me, however. I'm not allowing anyone to use me. So to me, that's a positive. To others, that's a negative because it may come off in a way that they don't like, or a
That they-
way that it may not come off as, oh, that's Brittney, but oh well. It's a lesson learned, and I'm learning to not care. So I guess you could say that's a negative. But ultimately, all in all, I've received more positives than I have negatives out
Mhm.
from divorce. I'm a totally, I would say I'm a totally different person. Like, I love the place that I'm in right now. I love who I am right now. You like years ago, you couldn't tell me I would be this Brittney that I am right now. Like, I'm in the place that I'm in right now is just like there's nothing that anybody can tell me. Like, I know who I am right now. Then I didn't. I walked around with my head down. I walked around feeling alone and ashamed and wore the mask. That mask is off. Like, I know who I am in God. I know what my purpose is. I walk with my head held up high and I'm doing a darn thing. And it's just like, ultimately, I don't ever want to feel like I'm bragging. But if people knew how low I was,
Ooh.
I was in that state of all the mess I was going through, then they would see that this isn't a brag. This is literally victory. Like, I'm victorious. Like, I'm literally walking in victory. So that's a positive right there. Like, it really is.
But people don't understand that. I was talking to a friend of mine, two different perspectives, two different people.
Mhm.
One person was like, "You post a lot. I feel like you are trying to show us that you're something. Then
Mhm.
the other person was like, I'm so proud of this person that's posting, because I remember when you were posting to stop from crying, or so that people didn't understand where you were. And
Mhm.
that's me. My positive is I would have never invested in learning Dejanay like I know her now. Like,
Right.
I know Dejanay. Like, it's nothing nobody could say that
Mhm.
could turn my day around. Like, if it's not Dejanay, like if my day is messed up, it's because Dejanay did it. It's a
Right.
self-love that I have, a self-appreciation. I said it last week. I was asked to go out on a date, and the person mentioned my favorite restaurant, and I was like, oh, I was planning on going there by myself.
You said that?
I was like, oh my God. I was like, but I'll go, because this is somebody, you know.
Mhm.
I was like,
Mhm.
I'll go. But in my mind, I'm like, I was planning on going there by myself. Like, I enjoyed Dejanay, where before I didn't. Like, I ran through friends a lot, and I always was around a crowd because I
Mhm.
was trying to get this person. And then I got married um, on a love that now I realize, ooh, not to say we didn't love each other,
Mhm.
but the love I have now, I could not have loved myself then.
Girl, yes.
Because I did a lot of settling, even in relationship, even with, like you said, you mentioned something with the first question about your in-laws. Like, you know, there really wasn't a relationship. That was me. I knew I conformed a lot to fit that mold. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna like me, you guys are gonna love me.
Right.
Now
Don't care.
it's like I love me. Say them,
Right.
like, I promise I'm
Right.
good, like I'm productive. And I think that's one of the positives for me. I hate that it was a divorce, but
Mhm.
I would divorce over and over if it gets me back to this place where I am spiritually.
Absolutely.
Spiritually, I had to pray myself out of some things that I couldn't share with nobody.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Kind of froze.
I'm sorry, I told y'all this service is just doing something. But there were some things that I encountered that I don't plan, you know, now sharing.
Mhm.
So I had to pray myself through some situations that where I couldn't speak out loud, and I'm just learned to love who I am,
Yes.
appreciate everything about me. My mental is better. And I say this all the time and people laugh, I sleep better. I didn't
Mhm.
realize. I was telling my therapist for 2 years, I really wasn't sleeping. I was tossing and turning. My
Wow.
mental was all over. That sleep, and I know you probably been there. That sleep where you sleep, but you still aware. So it's
Mhm.
like when you wake, it's like you didn't heard everything on the TV. It's
Mhm.
like your body can rest at all.
Right.
And then sleep, I'm sleep. I think that would be a positive. A negative would be this is a real negative too. I think that it places me back at, like, I tell people, starting back over. Cause like now that I've gone through that, it's like, okay, so DJ, like, I'm ready. Like, I
Right.
know I'm not one of those people that's gonna be single until she's like 60.
Don't say that.
I know that's not gonna be me. So now I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, like what the divorce did was made me like not lonely, but like,
Right.
okay, like I'm ready. Like I'm ready
Mhm.
now. But God, like now you're gonna send him whole and stable and mental and a man. Like, I think that would be my positive and my negatives. But I don't regret anything.
Mhm.
But I wish I knew who I am now before then.
But then,
If,
right. Right.
if that makes
I,
sense.
I agree.
Um, it's like, because when you say the word, and I think that's why I started this broadcast, and it's like I didn't realize how many people go through it and are afraid to speak on it.
A
But I
lot
get,
of people. A
because
lot.
I was ashamed. Like, I was so ashamed. Like, I thought I was walking in places, like looking over my paranoid, thinking everybody knew. People that didn't even know me, I thought knew, thought
Mhm.
knew my
Mhm.
situation. I thought I wore this big sign on the front of my head that said divorce. And I was,
But seriously, I know how you feel. Yeah. Been there. Been there.
especially like,
Like,
walking in church, like everybody's looking at you like, you're
yes.
the,
Yes.
you're the,
Yes.
people probably really didn't even care.
And you know what? It's so funny because I remember someone said to me, "Oh, Brittney, I didn't even know you was married." I was like, "Well, okay." I remember it was somebody at church and they were like, I didn't even know you were married. Like, I see that you divorced. I never knew you was married. Well, sorry, you never came to church. But yeah. I'm like, I'm sitting
It's,
here stressed thinking that people are looking at me and they like, they didn't even know. So
and you know what? It realizes like now. I was really ashamed. Like when I tell y'all, like I was in more of a dark place, thinking
mhm.
about people were going to think concern. And I think I stayed. So I wasn't one that I didn't file right away
Mhm.
because in my mind I was thinking of again the families. Like oh my God, our families and
Mhm.
what do they think about us and our friends that we have together.
Mhm.
And now it's like I stayed longer. Like if I would have known this would have been the result
Mhm.
of I probably would have did it a little sooner, but I was really concerned about everything that was on my concern list had to do with people. And
Yeah.
that literally was a sign right then and there that I was one of the first things that I needed to ask God to deal with me with in my healing process. And that was dealing with me on my intake on the opinions of people, like knowing like, okay, God, I remember one of my prayers was, God, allow me to see me how you see me. And how
Yes.
people see me or not how. Because, of course, divorcing, he said a lot of angry things. That could have been angry or it could have been really feelings.
Mhm.
So some of the statements that they all use is like, you'll never date again or you'll never, those you'll nevers. And I really carried that. Like, I stayed longer. Like, who maybe he's right. If I do leave, no one will want me or no one will. And I can remember one of my prayers, helping me with, deliver me from like the people and the opinions and the validation was, just God allow me to see me how you see me. And it was crazy because when he started to show me, it was different than what people was treating me like.
Mhm. Mm.
When he started to show me, no, DJ, this is who you are. These is the scriptures I want you to read on who you
Right.
are and what relates to your situation. It was different than the rumors and the talk and the chatter that I had heard
Right.
concerning me and about me. So that was definitely one of the things now that is like, if you hear something like, I hope it sounds good because I didn't heard some stuff about me that I'm like, oh, that must was fun.
Girl,
Was I
you
that
and me both.
interested?
You and me both. And I'm the type of person where like I hold on to things and
Me.
I'm very sensitive. I may come off as strong, but I'm extremely sensitive. So if somebody says something about me or there's a rumor, oh my God, I take it to heart. Even still. And I'm like, that's my prayer. Like, God help me to just be like, whatever, who cares? Let it roll off my back. But that's me. I done heard some stuff. People done said stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. If you know
When
me, then you know that's not true.
then you know what happened, right?
Hmm.
And that's how you have to look like. And it took me a while to get here to say that because at first I was hearing stuff about why we divorced. I'm like, dang, for it to just be us two and God, there was a lot of versions
Wow.
going around about what happened. And I feel like, we neither one of us were strong enough. And I'll say definitely me to see because I could remember one of the things we learned in counseling was you should know your partner's voice. Like I
Mm,
get the pastor that married us was like, when you're married, you should know like if somebody comes up to you, something small like
hmm.
she said she want to have dinner tonight with everybody and that she said no when she go in the house, you should know, okay, but she told me this. And
Hmm.
I somewhere along that line we lost that. And I know I'm guilty of people will come back to me like, well, he said this. And I would be so angry. And now that I think about it, in my mental whole healed self, I'm like, he probably that don't even sound like he's
Sorry
something
to say
could
that.
have he wouldn't have said that.
Hmm.
But in that hurt moment, it was going off like, well, he said that, and then I'm telling the business. Well, no, because that's not what happened. This what happened. This and now
Just to
that
get
I'm like
information out of you.
none
Yep.
of my right mind, I'm like, a lot of things that I was going off about, he probably never said, or I'm sure if I feel like this, I'm sure he's gotten the same thing.
Hmm.
It just shows that like people when people are going through a divorce, like we were saying, like it's very important, like your friendships and your family around you, because
Yes.
there has to be people that keeps you grounded. And I wasn't because again, like we said, I was into the opinions of people.
Me too.
So it's
Me too.
like I took everything that was happening, I was taking to heart. Like
Me too. Me
when
too.
now, like if I was to hear something, I'd be like, oh well, if that's what you think, have
Mm-hmm.
at it. I hope fun in your mind while you thinking about me, because I'm about to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But wish that was something that I would have, a lesson I learned afterwards that I would have took
Yeah.
throughout the whole marriage. And maybe, not to say maybe it wouldn't have happened, because I do believe it was supposed to happen when it happened.
Right.
But it would have cut a lot of the turmoil that I went through, the trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I definitely was in that. I can attest to everything you said because I went through the same. So right there with you,
It,
girl.
it's a lot, and it's so beautiful. Like I said, and my status, it was the most ugliest, most beautiful experience I've ever went through. The only so let me ask. Oh, sorry. I told y'all something's going on with this building. I just don't understand. So let me ask you this. Did you ever do you see down the line of like you and your ex like ever becoming like friends again? Like do you see that where you are mentally, because of like you're in this heal state, or do you feel like you can't hear me? Oh man. Can you hear me now? Let's see. Mm, let me see. Can you hear me now? No? Let me see. Mm. Am I back on?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Um, sorry about that. Do you
It's okay.
ever think like down the line, or is that something that now that you're in a whole place, in
Hmm.
your divorce, well, after divorce, post divorce,
Hmm.
do you feel like that is like a relationship or a friendship that you would gravitate back to, or do you feel like no, I'm too
With him,
healed for?
with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've I wouldn't necessarily say friends. I want us to be I want us to be in a place where we can just be cordial.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not in that place. It's sad, but we're not, even with children. That ultimately is my prayer. I pray all the time, like God, just help us. And it's not more so me. Like I'm not opposed to having a relationship because we have children, we
Mhm.
have to co-parent. But unfortunately, when you allow people in your space that
Or not?
who want to control
Mm-hmm.
uh y'all relation our relationship, that's what happens.
Um,
So without saying too many
good.
words, so unfortunately
That's
I'm not
good.
opposed to it. I will love it because we have children, we have young children, we have years and years that we have to talk and we have to, but unfortunately we're not there. If you guys are on, pray our strength because we need
Well,
it.
but I think that was I mentioned that last week. I said, going through a divorce.
Mhm.
One of the things I learned was you have to be careful when sharing. Now
Mhm.
it's time for you to share with the person that never wanted, the people that never wanted y'all to.
Mhm.
That's not the people that you vent to when you're going.
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
even in a friendship. In
Mhm.
shit. If you're leaving a church, um,
Mhm.
at the time for you to tell your dislikes to people that never liked you at that church because
Right.
what they're going to feed into it. Well, I
Mhm.
heard this and I heard
Mhm.
that. You
Mhm.
know, your small dislike is
Mhm.
turning something big uncontrollably, and I
Right.
feel kind of that goes to venting up. I
Mhm.
feel like that statement there goes to like with me. I feel
Mhm.
like where I was wrong too, where we were sharing with people that didn't have our best interests.
Wow.
Um, so we're now in a place where we don't speak at all, where we were friends
Mhm.
years before we were married. Um,
Mhm.
I think that's what I wanted, and I used to go to therapy all the time. Like I just want him to be my friend.
Right.
I want him to be my friend. But now I get it. Like now I understand. So I think that's what I don't think people understand about healing is when you're healed from a situation, your perspective changes.
It does. It
And
does.
when your perspective changes, you understand everything that happened. So like now,
Mhm.
I have moments now where I'll replay a situation that happened in a marriage that I forgot about. And it's
Mhm.
changed my perspective where before I would be mad. Now it's like,
Right.
oh, okay. I get why he was upset with that.
Right.
I get
Right.
how maybe I came in the house and my body language changed and that was the argument
Mhm.
of the week. Or, it just, and I feel like that perspective changes when you're working on you because
It
now you
does.
start to realize, okay, I played a part and
Mhm.
it may not have been as big as a part as what you did, but I
Right.
played a part in this. And I feel like it's very important that you choose who you vent to, like you said, because a normal person or a normal crowd, I know the crowd of people I have would be like, maybe y'all should be friends. Maybe y'all didn't work
Mhm.
out this, but maybe it'd be easier. Um,
Mhm.
I said this in my broadcast with Vent Up too. Like, who wants to walk around upset with a person and you're healed? Like, because I
Exactly.
know me, I be
Exactly.
forgetting. So I be wanting to be like, oh, happy birthday. Oh,
Mhm. Mhm. I
I
know. It's a shame.
forget
Mhm.
because you're not there, but you be
Mhm.
wanting. I think that's my prayers on my behalf too. Is like, God allow him to see like I wasn't the enemy. And I feel like divorce
Right.
when we're young, people play us against each other. And
Mhm.
we become enemies and we don't have to be. Like,
Right. Right.
and I
You
think that
definitely don't.
my prayer is always God allow have awakening one day where he realizes like I'm not the enemy.
Mhm.
It's just that, and it's okay that we didn't work. Like it's
Right.
okay things went the way that they went. It's okay.
Right.
But that doesn't mean our families are beefing. That doesn't mean when
Right.
your aunt sees such and such, like, and I think that's the maturity and what I kind of want to bring towards our generation of being divorced and our generation of losing relationships and our
Mhm.
generation of going through things is that we can handle a loss a different way. Like
Right.
in a girl friendship, like, you can lose a friendship. It doesn't mean that it's sour for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a
Right.
mature part to say, you know what, we might not be friends, but if I see you, I don't have to side eye you, or I don't have to make
Right.
miserable, or we don't have to post subliminals, or
Right.
um
Right.
of that nature that we can actually say, you know what, life happened and it's okay.
Mhm.
And I
Right.
think that with our age, we're discredited for that. And I think that's why I wanted
Yeah.
to the unspoken D word, letting you know like we're not 50 and 60 that was divorced. So
No.
we're going to see each other again. Like
Exactly.
and we got a
Exactly.
whole life to see each other. Like,
And I have to see this man. So just like, but my prayer ultimately is just God, just fix it so that we can co-parent and we can just move on. Cause I'm at the place where it's just like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. I just want to be in a great place so that our daughters can see like, okay, mommy and daddy, they're okay.
mhm.
Versus the arguing and the fighting. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody
And this
wants to do that.
I think prayer, because I know I've had situations, not necessarily my divorce, not thank you,
Hmm.
Jesus, we didn't have any kids, but
Hmm.
we lost our baby. And one of the things that I was afraid of in our divorce was I know I was the one that was like keeping her name alive, like doing things, Layla
Hmm.
Nicole posting. And one of the things I was afraid of when divorcing was, oh my God, him and his family going to forget about
Oh wow.
is him and
Okay.
is she gonna be a forgotten thought, that
Right.
happened. But now it's like you can't control it, but
No,
you do
you can't.
wish that like with our age, like I just feel like there has to be like a mature, like, and it's okay. Like
Hmm.
people realize like it's okay to be divorced, but what's not okay
Right.
is you staying somewhere where you're not loved. You stay
Exactly.
where your mental is compromised. You're staying somewhere
Yes.
value is not compromised. You're staying somewhere where you're arguing and fussing and fighting every day. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
how hard it is? And I know you know, but for the viewers that are on, being young, we're only 30. I was 31 when we divorced. I'm 33 now. That's hard. We're
Mm-hmm.
experiencing things that people experience at 50 and 60.
Right.
And a
Right.
lot is the technology. A lot of
And
it
I was
is
about to say that it's the social media, and then and it's like everything's posted on the internet.
everything is posted.
Everything's this, everything's that. The shade is posted, and then somebody's like, "Hey, did you see what this person said?" Having to
A
deal with
lot
that when you're like trying to get over and trying to heal, that is tough too.
that's
That
hard.
that was really tough.
You know what else was hard? I don't know if you
Mhm.
went through this, but it seemed like when I got divorced, everybody was getting engaged.
Girl, so I'm gonna give you my little story. So this past Christmas, it was hard for me. Like it
Hmm.
was hard. Like I was seeing people with their families posting their family pictures, people getting engaged, and I was just like, I feel like this is the first year since the divorce that I actually went through a grieving like period, like a seasonal grief. Cause I
Hmm.
was just like, why I was sad. Like Christmas morning, I was sad and I had to really fight it so my girls didn't see it. But I went through it at Christmas time because I'm just like, God, this is not what I thought. I didn't think my life was going to be like this. Like I would have thought I would be sitting here opening Christmas gifts with my husband and my children, not sitting here with my parents. Like it sucked. It was tough. And that's what people don't understand either. Like when it comes to divorce and things like that, how there can be a day that you're great and then the next day you
The
could
next
see him or somebody could say his name or it could be a holiday and boom, it's kind of like you took 10 steps back
step,
when you were 10 steps forward. So and I had to like at first I questioned like, what, am I really healed? Because why
mhm.
am I sitting here, sad? But I'm
Yes.
just like, I'll just, that's just something that you're going to go through. It's just it.
Hmm.
So but it was tough. It was tough, and people don't realize that. Like they
They,
can see, like, oh, Britt's on the up and up, blah blah blah. But not every day is a good day. There are days when I'm sad. There are days when I don't
yeah.
want to talk to people. There are
It's,
days that I may see him and then the thought of what happened in the past, like the good times may come up. So it's not always good. And then especially like you said, we're in a social media era. So anybody can look, oh, Britt, guess what? Such and such and such and such. Did
I
you
do.
know? And then boom, right there, that could slip me back into depression if I allow it. Um, but it's just like social media plays a huge, it
You,
sucks, but a huge part too in how you heal and how you move and what affects you and what doesn't, because everything is accessible. You can see, everybody can see, and it's crazy because um we went to the same college and everything, so we have a lot of mutual friends. People we went to college with know me, know him. So even if I'm not friends with this person on social media, they're friends with him and they know me, so something may get back to me. And people don't realize how that can affect someone too,
hmm
so
and you know what else? You mentioned something. I had a moment in here because again, I tell people all the time, just because we were divorced and there was a moment that caused our divorce, does not
mhm,
mean every moment was bad. Like we
right,
had good moments, and there
right,
are times that I do wake up and it's like you said, this was, and you know what? And I want to say this, maybe because I struggled with Thanksgiving and Christmas. My first
mhm,
Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays, it was like whatever. I'm da da da. But
mhm,
for my first holidays healed.
mm,
So these were the first holidays where you were actually feeling like, whoa, reality is Dejanay. You're
right,
showing by yourself.
right,
Reality
right,
is
mhm,
Thanksgiving at your house. Like now you're
right,
somewhere else.
right,
Or what I noticed again, the engagements and people having babies, they're like 33. I got married at 25. I didn't,
mhm,
this is our building time. You would think we would be having babies and posting pictures. And
right,
so it's like those things, as much as people can say that you're healed, as much as you're human and those remembrances do come up. And it doesn't mean that you miss that person. You miss the expectation of what would have been.
mhm.
And I think that's what it is. So I'm here to tell y'all, like, there is no perfect way to, hi, pretty girl.
You
There
said
is no perfect way to go through divorce. Like, there
right,
is, just embrace it. What I
Right.
can say for you guys that's on here, I love the comments. Is like once you fully embrace who you are, the journey becomes bearable.
Right.
Is your and that was one of the things that I learned too, Brittany. I don't know if that was you. When I was in denial, is it was taking me longer to come out.
Mm-hmm.
The moment
Mm-hmm.
really and even when he had left, I was still in a denial, like, oh well, he can come back at any moment. Like I know I draw,
Yeah.
but he gonna come back. And then when those days of him coming back was like, whoa, all this stuff is gone. It's like that's when
Mm-hmm.
reality hit, but I still was in denial.
Right.
I,
I was too.
the
I
reality,
was too.
it was like, oh, you have to face this. And now that you face this, it's like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
this is real.
It is
Now
real.
what you
It
gonna
is
do?
real.
Are you
Right.
married? And I know, and I remember I was telling my therapist this one day. I was like, I knew somebody that was divorced in their 30s and they're like 55, 56 now. And
Yeah.
they're still reliving the divorce as if it had been.
Wow.
And I was afraid that was going to be me. Like, here he's going to move on, get married again, have a house. And I'm still going to be in therapy for 10 years. And I did that. So it was like a push.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they like, you got work to do. You got work to
Right.
do. You got to, and on your journey, bring people out, help people along the way. Bring
Right.
people, y'all build a community and you grow together. You grow
Mm.
together. You heal together. And you talk together, and you understand perspective together. Because that's one of another thing of healing is learning perspectives.
That's
Your
true.
perspective is not right. It is not always right. Your
That's true.
feelings are valid, but your perspectives are not always right. You have to get different views and to help
Right.
you. There are lessons that I'm learning now that if I would have learned then, we may have. There's a chance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Itty,
Right.
it's an itty one, but there's a chance that things could be different between us, and that's
Right.
just taking those lessons. I'm sure you can say the same about you. Just take those lessons and you apply in other areas, and so
That's
you.
right. Into new situations so you don't even
Mhm.
make those same mistakes again. And that's kind of where I am with going into like dating and things. It's like, although, he may have been this way, I know what I've done, what I did too, that could have
Mhm.
caused some things. So I know not to take those into a new relationship. I know how to move differently so that I don't cause, discord or whatever. So it definitely was a learning process for me as well. Like there was a time where I had to sit back and really self-reflect, like, Brittney, you weren't perfect either. So, and it's tough, it's hard, but sometimes we need that reality check, like, hey, so
I
it
get it.
definitely takes time. Like I say to anybody who may have experienced a divorce or gone through a divorce, it definitely takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You're
Mm-mm.
going to have your highs and you're definitely going to have a lot of lows, but just keep pushing forward. And that's the best advice I can give you. Keep pushing forward, keep living, keep praying. God will get you through it.
Yes, show up and
Hmm.
surround yourself with people who genuinely care.
Yes, genuinely, genuinely.
And not in it,
Hmm.
because I had people that were around for the business,
Hmm.
and those people
Yes,
fade, and
yes.
but you don't know in the period. So, like you said, pray that God sends you a community
Hmm.
that will strengthen you and see you and be.
Right.
I can remember being so in the dark place, like I would not even want to get up. Like
Yeah, same,
when
same.
I never get my pastor one time looked at me and was like, "You look bad." Like I can't, but I needed that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Me
Hmm.
look nice and it was like a girl. You look.
But sometimes we need it. I'm telling you, we need it. And another thing I'll say too is because this is something I don't know if you experienced this, but this is something I experience and still experience. Don't allow family members or friends to constantly keep replaying
Yes.
what happened or
Mm-hmm.
keep bringing it up. Like I know I experienced this a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, so this about you. Why are we talking about him? I'm pretty sure at their family function, I'm not even being mentioned. Stop. Like learn, like it's okay to shut people. And for the longest, like I wouldn't say anything. I just laugh it off. But then I'll go home and be upset because I'm like, why would they bring this up, knowing what I'm going through? But I'm at the place where it's just like I don't care about your feelings because you clearly don't care about mine. So it's okay to shut people down and be
Yes.
like, and be like, stop.
Is
Like,
the
it's not okay. And like a lot of like even with some of my friends, like I had to tell them, like, I don't want to know what he
Mhm.
posts or what he says, what's going on. I don't want to know.
I agree.
Because that ultimately it affected me for a while. Like, and I know like social media, things are said, things are blown up, whatever. But I had to tell people, do not tell me. If he's talking bad about me, I don't care.
and it's
If
fine.
his person that he's with is talking bad about me, I don't care. If you know me, you know who I am, you know my standards, you know what I stand
Ooh,
on, you know. Let them do what they do, but don't bring it to me, because you don't know. And you don't know if the mental state that I'm in right now, and you bring me some information that you're bringing me, how that could affect me in a bad way. So it's okay to shut people down and tell them to stop. It's not okay. Leave it alone. What you see, you see. What I don't, I don't. And it's okay to not know. So
yes, and I would say it would happen a lot with like, oh girl, remember that Thanksgiving he came here, this happened, and you'd be like,
yep, yep,
yeah,
yep,
remember. And like
yep.
you said, I'm sure I'm not mentioned there, like, don't. But you know what I can say? Yeah, I probably have been mean about the shutdown. Like,
I need to start. I need to start. Because
okay.
it's annoying. Like, I'm coming around and you still, why are you asking about him?
Or
Why?
I can remember this one time. So my new friend over, I don't like to really say that over loud, like if I'm dating or not. But yes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ladies from my former church, I was like, hey, this is such and such.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, we have, now mind you, he's standing there. We
See,
heard you weren't married. We like him better. And I was
see,
like,
and that's the dumb stuff that you go through after. Girl,
people
let me.
don't know what to say. And it's like, and of course he laughed it off. Like it wasn't nothing that was like, I think I was more offended
Mm-hmm.
than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bother him. He actually laughed about it. He was like,
Right.
they better. But you
Right.
know,
But still, it's just
that
like,
was like, why would you even? And then it
why would
was
you
the
say that?
heard you were divorced. Like
Yeah. People are just sad. Sometimes people don't know what to say.
they don't. But I mean, it goes like it's really a bit. So I think we make it look, because I know with me, like you were saying today, you were saying some stuff I never knew. I knew you were my go-to person. Um,
Mm-hmm.
having down moments, I was like, oh my God, Brittney just did this event. Her
Mm-hmm.
creativity is this and she's doing that. I think I told you that, like,
Yeah.
you were my person. So to know that you were even dealing with the things that I was dealing with is why people come to us, because we made it look easy.
We
You
did.
definitely made that look easy to me, because I was gaining strength from you. Like, okay, okay,
Wow. Wow.
okay, I'm good. Like, I can do this. You
Mm-hmm.
were posting things and then photo shoots, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I can do this. I can conquer this. It hurts, but and I think that's probably what people think about, me too, is why I was getting all the questions, like, how did you do this? How do you do that? Not knowing I'm coming on, but like this is helping me come out more too. Like this is helping me through the journey, because there are some things in this journey that are not completely healed from, or that you do have some kind of, you just don't
Yeah.
forget about it
Right.
overnight. It
Right.
took years to get in it. Well, we were married 6 years. It took 6 years. So it's not something that's going to, forget in 2 years. So,
Right.
these moments of talking it out does make it like, okay, so I'm not the only one, or, this. And it's like, I think that's what I can stress, like find you a safe community, a safe
Right.
net community
Right.
that loves you, even a community that may love him too at the same time, because you don't want someone that's always going, you're trying to heal and they're always bringing up their negative, or
Right.
they
Right.
did this to you. No, like you have
Right.
to maturity. Not a lot of people that you have around you can handle
Mm-hmm.
this moment. So, go after, and I'm sure Brittney, you can say the same, especially because we're church. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to know you want to talk, but you have to know who to talk to,
We'll
when to,
talk exactly.
how,
Exactly.
then what you show, what you don't show. We're not saying be fake, but not
Mm-hmm.
everybody can handle our dark days.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
can handle our happy days, because then they're like, oh, she didn't got over that too quick. She
Mm-hmm.
faked. I heard that a lot when I first started like talking about this. A lot of things was, I think you're moving too fast, or
Oh.
how do you know that you're this? And it's like, But how do you know that I'm not? Like,
Exactly.
how do you know my timetable?
Exactly. Exactly. And don't let people try to put on you their own
Their
thoughts.
their own, yes. And I went through that. Like, just because you had a bad experience, it does not mean that my journey is going to be bad. We have the same journey, different
Mhm.
outcomes.
Right. Exactly.
If you just grab a hold to that, everybody that's on here, just grab a hold. Like, your journey is correct. Like, you're going to feel this. It's going to
Right.
hurt. It's not going to be easy. I'm sorry.
And every day's it's not gonna be a good day. It's not.
It's
It's
not.
like
It's
this the past couple days I was praying yesterday, and I was just like, because outside of being divorced and dealing with that, I have personal stuff that I deal with too,
mhm,
and work and life and things like that. And I was just like, this week I made a promise to myself to limit my conversations with
yeah.
everybody.
Hmm.
I'm gonna talk to people that I usually talk to, but I'm not gonna talk to as much, because I want to also make sure that you know I'm giving God his time, and I'm
Hmm.
kind of not engaging in too much negative conversation, and not gossiping, and not like, I want this week to be all about, okay, yes, I'm on this hold and healed journey and things like that, but God, I also want to give you back because you gave to me. So this week literally for me has just been about, okay, well, the week just started, but
It's my
but from the weekend on, I was just like, God, I want this week to literally be just about you and me. That's it. Like, sometimes you got to get in that place where you kind of got to push others away and just let it be about you and God, you know? So,
and
and
then
I feel like
it's
even
so
too,
good, like you said, because sometimes it'll make you feel like you're 10 steps back, or why aren't you? And it's really like, God, like, what do you see next for me? And I know that was my thing, like my struggle. I never thought I would be, where I am. Like, and
right,
out came me praying, God, what is next for me? What is my next direction?
right,
What do you
right,
have for me after this? I've gone through this. What's next?
right,
Who after this? Who is this heal? Because this Dejanay is different. So what will do you have for me? What direction do you have?
right.
And that come from, like we stated earlier, just shutting everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go this week. I had to open my word up and find myself in the word. I
Yes.
to
Yes.
open my mouth and pray about what is next and what's coming. I said that I did prayer the other Saturday, and I said, God, forgive me for not trusting you in my journey,
Mm-hmm.
for listening to people before I listened to you,
Right.
for becoming what others wanted me to become instead of who you had for me in
Mm.
this. Who's this divorced Dejanay that you have? Who is
Right.
this girl that you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? What's next? So I commend you on your journey. I have something for you. I'm gonna say after this. It's called,
Okay.
somebody gave me this book when I first got it. It's a little plan. I can probably drop it off. It's like a 40
Okay.
day Jesus, a
Mm-hmm.
healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, like different scriptures that you read, um,
Okay.
and things like that. And it's for 40 days.
Wow. Okay.
Really good. Like, and just like self meditation, just we're rediscovering who we are.
Exactly.
Who is this new person? Because it's a new person. We're not the same
Not the same person.
people, the
Nope.
same
I am
mind,
not the person. I,
not the same person.
and I'm going to keep evolving, and I'm going to keep changing. I'm going to keep growing.
Yeah.
And, I had to get to the place too where it's just like, some people are not going to like this new Brittney. And I'm okay with that.
And that's
Like, I'm okay with being not liked, because I'm trying to be who God wants me to be, who he's called
yes.
me to be. And that's kind of what this week is about too. Like, God, show me what you want.
Um, I seen a meme that said, with this generation, we can't be popular and called.
Mm,
And that's basically what you're saying. Like, God, like, forsaking all others, forsaking everything. Like, I
mm-hmm.
will, and doing things the right way. You're not going to be like,
Right.
people are not going to understand. They're going to think this and think that. But in my book, I wrote a chapter and was like, don't worry. Like, when you get to heaven, I'm sure he's not going to ask you about me. Don't worry. I'm sure he's not going to ask.
Right.
Great. I do see your comment. I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it in your inbox. The picture they're asking, what is the pamphlet that I'm going to give you?
Okay.
But I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it in your inbox. Is there anything else, Britt? This was really good.
It
Really
was. It was.
good.
Nope. There's nothing else. I just would say, just to whoever's on, just stay encouraged. You know, it's going to get better. It gets easy. After a while, it's going to take time, but and don't compare your journey to anyone else's. We may look like we're in the best place ever, but you guys don't know what it took for us to get here. People really, really don't know. Like,
They,
people know bits and pieces of my story, but they don't really know.
they don't know.
So it definitely takes time, but you'll get there. You'll definitely
And
get
I'll say take the timetable off. Don't give
there.
yourself a healing deadline. Don't give yourself a dating deadline.
Yeah.
Don't give
Right.
yourself when you're coming out deadline.
Mm,
Literally take every day. Make it yours.
right.
Uh, relearn who this new person is.
Right.
That's what I say. Don't take that timetable off. X out the clock and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You will get married again. If you speak it, it'll happen. But
Right.
you like, think about marriage and you're still broken, or you don't want to think about it and you're unhealed. Get
Right.
healed
Mhm.
and allow time to happen.
Right.
Because you'll only meet what you are. And if you're broken now, you're gonna meet a broken person. And you don't want to repeat the cycle.
That's true. You definitely don't. Definitely
You
don't. Take that time to heal. Get back.
heal, okay? Get
Hmm.
up the tissues, prepare
Yes.
to be in the corner.
And get a therapist. It's okay to
Yeah,
get a therapist. It's okay to not be okay. Like, I had to learn that. Like, you can't be okay all the time. It's okay to have your moments. So,
definitely, I second the therapist. Let me tell you, when I first was divorced, I felt like I was seeing her every day, and my
girl.
copay her so much that the copay was expiring, so I was paying full price.
Oh no.
I was seeing her so much, it was like, your insurance only covered this amount of business, right?
Wow.
I was
Wow.
like three, like every time I was having a moment, like I was crying, like, can I come in today?
Are you serious?
You have something available? Yes. Like, I mean, she was seeing me early, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., late at night. Like, we started doing Zoom. I was seeing that first 3-4 months was
Mhm.
like crazy. I was going so much. Now I'm like, well, I still go, even though like I'm much better. And
Right.
now we talk about the good. Like,
Mhm.
now it's a positive thing. Like, it's not
Right.
like crying every time. Now it's like, okay, so this is what I did during the week. And I just kind of want
Right.
to keep, especially on these platforms, I don't never want to slip back into where you are. So I definitely say get a therapist, get somebody that you like. And
Yes.
it's okay to try. You go one week and that's not the one that you connect with, find another one. I had to go
Yep.
through two before
I
I
did too. I did too. I did too. Yep. And the one I have now is amazing. Like, I can say God has really used her to
yes.
change my life. He did. He did.
And I don't think my girl is church. Some of the stuff
Mine is.
she said to me, she be like, "Who? I know you don't cuss, but I gotta say that."
Mine is. And there are some moments where I'm just like, listen, I don't want to hear a scripture today. Like, I need I need truth. I need facts. I need psychology. I don't
I'm
need
crazy.
today. I don't need scripture today. I don't.
There are some days she would just be looking at me like,
Mine too. Cause and you know what? In your healing journey, guys, you are gonna have someone. I've made some bad decisions in
mhm,
my journey. Some
yes,
bad, a lot of decisions that I regret and I'm not happy about. And my therapist, she lets me know she's not judging me, but she also makes it known, like, Brittney, you're not right. So, um, in your journey, it's not always going to be pretty, and not going to always make the greatest of choices. You're going to make some choices out of hurt and desperation, but that's when God steps in.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and forgives you. Never feel like a
Right.
divorce. I don't know why I'm led to say this on here. But it's okay to have regrets, but don't live in your just
Right.
as much as God forgives you, you have to
Absolutely.
forgive yourself for the things that you allow to happen to you, things that
Mm-hmm.
you allow to experience, the things that you allow yourself to experience, the places that you took yourself, the places that you allowed your mind to go.
Right.
So it's okay to have regrets. Do not live in your regret. Don't.
Absolutely.
Just as much as God forgives you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's hard. You have to forgive yourself, though. You have to. If not, 3 months later, you'll be having relapse. No, the healing that you have, and I know what Brittany has and I have, is something that you'll still see us like this 10 years from now. Even better, you know, I think this is something we worked hard to change the narratives of our lives.
Right.
So outlive that regret, outlive that persecution, outlive the shame. It's okay. Even if you know your business out there. It's okay. Let them talk. Let them, you work
Right.
on, while they learning an old version of you, you work on the new version that's going to change from the day. If they say that you're this and you're that, you work on that. So they'll only know an old version of you. So
Absolutely.
let people talk. Let people do this for the person in the mirror, and you'll be so much more happy and so much more
Yes.
better with the outcome that you have. It's like losing weight. If you,
Mm-hmm.
you'll always take care of it because like I put in a lot of hard work and
Right.
effort. Do something.
And you don't want to go back.
Yeah, you don't want to go back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm done for today. This was good. This was
It was.
really, really good.
It
I
was. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for saying yes. I'm really appreciative. As you know, when you say yes, I was like, yes. Guys, so again, you can definitely follow me on DJ Dominique on all social media platforms, as well as Miss Brittney. She has her event business.
I
She has
do.
her it's the Pink Table Talk, right?
Yes, Pink Table Talks with S. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Make sure you follow her, Brittney Banks, on social media. Follow us both. Inbox us. Let us know how you enjoyed tonight.
Yes, let us know. I want to know.
Yes, please, 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 please let us know. Share this, like, comment, and share. Share with people that you know are going through, have gone through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
We love you guys. Again, catch me every Monday night at 8 p.m. with the Unspoken D word, dealing with divorce. I love you guys. Oh, see me
Bye. Good night.
tomorrow.
Okay.
I love y'all.
Have a good night.